Hey, Patty. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. So how are you doing? Oh, yes. They got a hotel and they're staying at a hotel. They left a couple hours ago. I'll have them until they're leaving Wednesday morning. So I don't know if I'll see them Wednesday morning or when they leave to go to the hotel on Tuesday night. I don't know. But they'll be here in the morning. Hi, John. Hello, hello. Hi, Candy. Oh, Bossy. Who are you calling Bossy? I don't see her yet. She could be here watching. I have to. I have to Russian join my wool tonight. I have to brush join my wool tonight. I crocheted all the rest into my bedspread. Oh, Russian. You talk about the stitch. Okay. Did you get a nap? About 20 minutes. I won't be here for like 4 or 5 hours. I'll be here for about two, three. Yeah, so I figured tonight I'll go to bed early. What am I hearing? What am I hearing? I don't know what I'm hearing. It's not coming from my headset. I'm painting tonight, so I'll be a bit quiet. All right. All right. So how has everyone been? How'd you do today? I made it up for you went to sleep. Last night. Woke up at 4 a.m. Well, we did think of you last night, John. I got to watch Dustin today. I did too. There was a few of us that made it. I think John made it towards the end. Um, it was a good day, pretty low key. Went for a nice walk with Moshi and hubby Joe. Just kind of chilled today. Sometimes you need one of those days. I spent it with visiting my friend and her husband. We hung out at the dining room table all day. I crocheted while we chit chatted, and in the afternoon I bagged candy while chit chatting. So it's been a day of lots of talking. I watched one. I watched the replay of you. Oh, the replay last night. Yeah, he was playing hooky. What am I doing? I am not doing right. Like, what is so messed up about my project? Be nice if I actually put stitch the right stitches. Okay. Crochet. Trying to get caught up on things. Oh, hi, Pania. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, we didn't see each other for probably close to maybe 30 years until this past year. And she's come, well, last summer, I hung out with her all, during my vacation. I'm hearing like loud music. I'm not sure where it's coming from. Oh, I love that. New mentions. Okay. I'm just playing catch up here on the on general arts on Discord, looking at pictures. Um, so, Pania, how are you doing? I had a victory, but I'm not saying anything right now. Okay, I'm curious. Oh, Candy, those are beautiful. Are those the shells you were talking about, or are those? Oh, yes, they are shells. Oh, those are so. I wish I could do that kind of work. Everything will be okay. I think you're awesome. Oh, that that first one's pretty too. They're all pretty. Now that sailboat one reminds me of the paintings that my dad did. Let's see. The dancing sardines practicing for your dream tonight. What are they? Yeah, it's funny, John. Um, I'm hearing like you don't hear the music. It's like that soft music that you would play if a dog was sleeping, type of thing. All right, I gotta go check this out. It's driving me crazy. It's so loud. I gotta see where it's coming from. All right, and then Well, I figured out what it was. There. Hello, Lisa. Anybody? Yeah, my husband's TV went into like sleep mode or something, but decided it would just stop playing weird music. So let's see, Patty. Hello, 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 everyone. All right, now I can drop this cord. So how's everyone doing? Me being my nosy self had to go turn down some music. I'm painting, so might not respond as quick tonight, but love listening in. Yeah, and I am very tired, so I can't promise that I'll even be very talkative. We'll see how that goes. But I wanted to get some crocheting done and just chill. I need to stop moving. You're motivating, Grandma. I don't feel very motivating right at this minute. I haven't been to bed yet, but like what? How many hours now? Since our last night's live, I have not gone to bed. But that's all right. A quiet grim. I know you think it's possible. I'm not sure. Oftentimes in the past, it means I only get worse. So we'll see. But I am tired. But I wanted to at least get a few rows in. You know how you get, after I left the chat last night, I knew I only had like maybe 6, 7 hours before they would be coming over. And I knew I had to go and lay down. And I got to looking at something. Next thing I know, I'm watching like a certain type of video and stuff, and I'm watching them. And before I knew it, like 3 hours went by, and I'm like, crap, 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 crap. And at that point, it's like 6 o'clock, 6:30, and I was like, well, do I just stay up now? Because if I go to sleep now, I'm not going to be awake in like 3 more hours. So I chose just to stay up. But I did fall asleep in my chair here for about 20 minutes. Yeah. So I haven't slept much. So I'll probably leave here in about 3 hours and just get, like a good chunk of sleep in before tomorrow morning. Hey, Nikki. That just means you have to stay after for a good 15 minutes because you let what? 16 minutes late, you get to stay an extra 16 minutes after class. Let's see. Pania says, thanks, hugs, Candy, and that you, for the book suggestions, got all of Dr. Mindy ones. I think I will enjoy a daily study with them. Much appreciated. Come to my world of lacking sleep. I think I got caught up. Oh, jeez. And you're so kind, Pania. Yeah, what's my secret? It's called the carnivore diet. You know what I did today? I don't know if it was a bad thing or not. I might get a reaction from it, but my friend who's here from out of state, she decided to order a couple of pizzas for everyone. I thought I get stuff in the fridge I can eat, no big deal. But when it came, it looked so good. But I only ate the meat toppings. I did not eat the pizza dough, the pizza crust. So I'm not sure how much of an effect that's going to do to me. And it was only one slice, and I just ate the cheese and the sausage and the pepperoni and the ham off from it. I don't know what else there was. Bacon. It was all meat. So hopefully I didn't do too much to myself. I remember someone saying, yeah, as long as you eat the toppings off the pizza, you're fine. Where do you get it from? Doing good here. I don't know where the pizza came from. It wasn't a place that um, I was familiar with or ever ordered from. Yeah, and it was only one piece, so one slice. I hope you react well. I can't wait to try that next visit with hubby. He likes pizza, huh? Well, everyone was eating pizza, and I was going to get up and cook myself some bacon and eggs. And I thought, you know what? I'm feeling real lazy right now. And this is why I believe so wholeheartedly on having your meals prepped ahead of time for a few days. So when something like that happens, like no sleep, that's when you're the most vulnerable. I know this, but it would have been my day to cook. But hi, squeaky monkey. I hope I didn't miss anyone. I'm tired, so if I miss anyone, I'm real sorry. Nikki, you're being written up for lateness. Uh, Victory. After 45 days, stuck at a half mile of walking, I finally broke through walking 6 miles. Proof that persistent turns struggles into victory. There you go. Congratulations, John. You finally got to where you were hoping to get to. I would say that was a little victory. That's a big victory. that is a good victory. Hey, Nikki and Pania and Lisa and John. And why is it I always think of the Waltons? That one does a list of names. My mind just goes right straight to the Waltons. Amy at Rock and Keto was saying carnivore is putting weight on her, and myself included. I am at a loss, truly. Well, it can happen for a lot of different reasons. And since I know if it was happening to me, one, I would look back at what I was eating first. um, and see if there's anything that I might be doing that I don't realize that I'm doing. Like, if I eat, did I start buying a new mayo or something and I'm overindulging or something, you know, uh, some hidden carb somewhere because it's there. I don't know. It just, yeah, it could be too much butter. You figure a tablespoon of butter is 120 calories. Not that I count calories because I do not. I do not count calories. But if you're a person that is doing a lot of butter, are you doing too many calories? You know, it just could be, you just have to study yourself. I'm not a doctor, but you just have to look at what you're putting into your mouth. And sometimes it could just because you're healing. Some people that are real close to their goal weight oftentimes has a hard time losing. And if they're not in, because at some point when you get down close to your goal weight, you start just doing maintaining. But if you're going over the maintaining, then you could gain some weight. I mean, there's just so many different variables in there, but I'm more apt to think it's something there that you don't realize it, that you're doing too much of, or even no electrolytes can cause you. Everybody reacts different, and you have to investigate yourself, you know, and then try to figure out what it is you're doing, because it always is something that you're doing, but you just don't have knowledge of it. You know, you have to invest. Like, I was worried that maybe because I'm bagging candy, that somehow I'm soaking it in through my skin and all this sugar, and that's why I'm at a standstill. But after studying it, I realized no, that's not possible. Your skin is a natural, um, like, protective shield for your body. So that's not something that could happen. Not with handling packaged candy. Yeah, you got to figure out some way of shaking it up. Sometimes, if you're doing the same thing day in and day out, day in and day out, your body just decides to do its own thing. It might decide to hold on to something. If you shake it up a little bit, it breaks loose. There's just so many different variables. So many. Yeah, try a brief calorie deficit. There's so many different things you can do. And I don't even want to suggest, you know, some people, I've done like egg fasting for a while. I've done intermittent fasting for a while. Not no long term, just like, did like OMAD for like a week or a weekend. There's just so many different things that you can do, but you have to do with what you're comfortable doing, because I don't know what your medical history is like. I don't know your medical history of anyone here, really. So it's like I'm always cautious about ever telling anyone what they should or shouldn't do. I'm in a friggin' year long stall, but I'm not full carnivore yet. How close are you to your goal weight or where you want to be? Because it gets harder and harder the closer you get to your goal weight. Even if you knew our med history, better not to give too much direct. Exactly, just general. 60 pounds. Yeah, cause it's just that everyone is different. Everyone reacts to things differently. I know my body reacts really well with intermittent fasting, but not long term. It's more like OMAD type of stuff. Or it works really well if I do like an egg fast for like 3, 4, 5 days. But that's me. That's my body type. And it's something that you have to research and you have to figure it out. You got to be an investigator. You can't don't just not do anything. There's things that you can do, and you just got to look into it. Pretend like you're doing a murder investigation. Look at it real serious. Become a private eye. I've heard, and this I wouldn't do this, but I have heard of people do what they call carve up, where um, because they've stalled for a long time, that what they do is they carve up for one day, and then they go back into intermittent fasting the next day, and does this it because they believe some people believe that that's enough to shock your body into moving again. So I'm not going to do that, you know, but some people are known to have done that. I've heard of that. I've researched that before. And for some people, something like that works. I wouldn't suggest going out and buying a big, huge sheet cake and eat it all. Yeah. And that's it for me too. For me, it's more about mobility, healing. I need to be able to get up and not be stuck in a chair or in a lot of pain. It's more of that than really losing weight and getting down 100 pounds. I mean, I would be perfectly happy in my life right now if just not to be in pain. It sucks to not be able to move because each step is like stepping on glass or stepping on a knife. It's just, it's horrible. We are all different. I started 2 years ago, 2 years ago for a tumor and genetic conditioning. Both are stable, but since hitting 40, the weight is coming on like crazy. I was too small, so love to have some weight on. The yours is probably that old age spread that the world talks about, and sometimes when you get into that place, you have to start eating totally different for, you know, the older ladies instead of because your body slows down. You start going into all different types of hormonal changes. And that's probably what's going on with you, Lisa. Not that that's just me guessing because I've been there and I've had to deal with all that when I was doing, dieting back in the day. When now it's long gone and behind me. I haven't seen the beginning of menopause for like 30 years. Yes, exactly. I'm starting to get better. I can stand at the sink, unless it's like I got a whole bunch of dishes. But yeah, I can stand at the sink and do dishes. I can stand at the stove and do a little bit of cooking. And see, and that's what I'm talking about. I could care less. Even I keep forgetting to even step on the scale because not that I'm going to go back to eating the American standard diet. I'm going to stick to carnivore. Um, but I feel better. It's a good place that I'm in right now. I wouldn't give it up for all the money in the world, even. I'm serious. I wouldn't give it up for all the money in the world. I feel like if I needed to go, so I'm still not fully where I want to be, because I still have a hard time walking through the grocery store or Walmart. I still depend on that cart. So I want to get past all that. But I don't. I wouldn't want to fly any long distance right now because I'm too big to go into their bathroom. So I still feel like I have restrictions and being able to dream. It's like, yeah, that's a good dream, but I'm not there yet. Because once I'm there, I'm probably going to go to Vegas. Who knows? I'll feel like I've got it made. I can get on a plane and use the toilet if I got to go. It really sucks. This is bad when you're a big woman and you're going to take the plane to go somewhere. You get two seats. You have to get a belt extender, and then you have to wear a pee pad or something to protect yourself because you can't go to the bathroom. And so when you're a big woman and you're stuck in a plane for 3 hours and you can't fit into the toilet, you sneeze and it's it. You just peed yourself. So you always have to prepare for the worst. And I would still have to prepare like that. It's not an easy road for mobility yet. I guess I need to start reading some of these chats because it's quite a few just chatting, running my mouth. I told you with lack of sleep, I can start talking about anything. Um, Candy looks healthy in videos. I still haven't seen one of her videos yet. I haven't had time. What maybe not that much, girl. Thank you, Penny. I've healed so much and tried to concentrate on how wonderful I feel. Yeah, and that's what keeps you going, is how wonderful you feel. We have to keep reminding ourselves it's not about just the scale victory. It's about how good we feel, and we can't forget about that. We have to remind ourselves about the victories that we've been through. And like I was saying in one of my videos not too long ago, maybe like two or three videos, it's so important when you're on this journey, not only to take pictures of yourself, but to actually do like videos of yourself. Walk down the driveway and talk. You don't have to publicize that stuff. It can still be for you, but video yourself. Make sure you get a good face shot. When I look at some of my old videos, I see a change in like around my neck. I see changes. And I would never, ever, ever believe that I have done anything or any changes if it weren't for my videos that I've already done. So you really, you know, you got to grasp onto those victories. That's all I can tell you. And remind yourself where you've been and where you came from. I know, but if you're on a plane for 11 hours, guess what? You're going to use the toilet. When we went from Houston, Texas, and we flew to London, yeah, London, it was about 11, 12 hours. And you can't just get off the plane once you land. You have to go through all kinds of stuff before you actually get to a place where there's a toilet. So, yeah, you can say that as long as you know you'll never fly long distance. But I learned a long time ago you don't actually sit on those toilet seats, you have to straddle. I think everybody just straddles over what little room you have because it's smaller than a trailer bathroom. Um, I keep mentioning the family and loved ones how good I feel, but they are so afraid to give up carbs. I don't push. Some people can be healthy with carbs. I was a miserable person and really tried. Not only, not only, you can tell people that you feel good, but until they actually start visually seeing and noticing the great changes, the big change. My granddaughter said, "Oh my God, I thought you were my mom when you were standing sideways." Mama, Grandma, you've lost some of your belly. You're not puffed out so much anymore. I thought you were mom. So those little things, they notice. It makes me feel good, sure, that I'm, mistaken for my daughter, but it's also because she is overweight too, and it's good that she sees that what I'm doing that most people think is crazy, a crazy diet, she's seeing that it's working. And that to me means more than anything. is that she's seeing the changes. And that's where we're going to hook them, guys, when they see the changes. So you can say, thank you, hon, that means a lot. But when they're doing a double take, that's where you got them. Grandma, I'm so happy for you. I will be helping your channel as soon as I'm able. Canada is crazy expensive. This channel brings. Don't worry about it, Lisa. I am not here to make money at all. You know, for those that can support, they have been. You know that. You know that. That's where it's at. That helps me get more yarn to crochet. That helps me mail out things to people when they win prizes, so that it doesn't really come from my budget. But I don't expect anyone. It's more important for me to see that you can come here and find some sort of joy or some sort of support or something of what you're going through, even if it's just hanging out so that you don't grab snacks. I would rather you do that and be here than not be here because you feel like you can't help the channel financial, if that makes sense. Because that isn't the financial stuff isn't what all this is about. We're here to help each other, support each other, not so much financial, even though that helps with the yarn and because all of these things that I make when I'm sitting here, most likely are going to be up for prizes. Not all of them are, if you support the channel, you'll get a prize, but you know, does that make sense? Yeah, you wish you would have taken pictures. Sometimes I forget that back in April I was bedridden and lucky to walk 15 feet. Yeah, and if you did a video of that, start it from today. Who knows? You know, you need to. I really believe now that video journaling is so important. Yeah, actually writing it down, dating things, and how you feel, your victories, that's important. But gosh, uh, video, if you guys can do videos of yourself and save it. You don't have to show it to anybody. Okay, Lisa, but just know that it's not important. What's more important is you're here asking questions, learning, watching the rest of us sharing your victories. That to me is more important. It could help shake things up. Um, I think I need to fast. That might help. But I would never do anything like long term fasting if you've never done that type of stuff before. When I first started doing fasting, the way that I did it was through, um, what was his name? I want to say his name was Fung, Dr. Fung. Was it Dr. Fung that did the intermittent fasting? Anyone know? Yeah. I remember when I was into starting the intermittent fasting, he basically was saying that for the first 12 hours, for 12 hours, anything over 12 hours, it's, yes, fun. There you go. Everything after 12 hours helps your body heal. It starts the process of what yeah, Jason Fung. I love that man. And then, so get through a 12-hour fast. And then from a 12-hour fast, jump it up to a 14-hour fast. Once you're comfortable with that, then go up and have a window. Like I do windows. I do intermittent fasting every single day. I do a window where I eat within a 6-hour window as my average every single day of my life. I eat in a 6-hour window. So that means I'm fasting naturally for 18 hours and I eat 2 meals. at the beginning of that 6 hours, I eat, and then at the end of that 6 hours, I eat. So that means from that 12th hour to the 18th hour, I'm doing intermittent fasting and I'm doing a little bit of healing. Yes, can I bump that up and do OMAD? That's one meal a day. Then you can do one meal a day. Some days I do OMAD. I'll only have one meal, but you can't just jump into fasting. You actually have to train your body. You have to understand it, so research it. Yeah, learn how to break a fast. That's very important with like bone broth, bone bone broth. Some people will have like butter in their coffee or something that could actually cause you to have the diarrhea. But but learn what kind of when you break your fast, what doesn't give you a lot of issues. Because sometimes when you break your fast, you start having, explosive diarrhea. So you got to be careful with how you break your fast. And there's a great study somewhere on this internet in from Germany. Germany, they actually have a clinic, and the health insurance in Germany actually pays for people to go there and do intermittent fasting. And they really believe that you have to have blood work done. You have your blood pressure checked. You actually stay at a facility, but people come out of there healed. They're doing 2 week, 3 week, 4 week intermittent fasting. Because I believe it really heals. But you can't just jump into it. You're gonna get sick, and that's what everyone needs to understand. I keep talking about, oh yeah, just do intermittent fasting. Yeah, do 36, 72. No, it takes a process to get up to there. Research this stuff for yourself. Check into someone like Dr. Jason Fung. If you're thinking about doing intermittent fasting, you write Dr. Jason Fung down and you start reading about him or watch his videos and then update it. Yeah, I lost 60 with it, then stalled. Yeah, I did 36 hours. I like to eat. I didn't like the idea of depriving myself, so I just never did it. But mostly do between 16 and 20 a day. Yeah, that's me too, Candy. Yeah, look it up. There's lots of people. It's intermittent fasting. Look it up. If really understand why you're doing it. The benefits from doing it. Really understand the changes that it's going to give your body. Just don't jump into it. And if you do it, take it very slow. Don't just jump into it. Like you can do something like if you're a breakfast eating person, when you get up, you just don't eat breakfast when you say you eat breakfast when you first get up. Bump it up a couple of hours. So that maybe instead of eating breakfast at 6 in the morning, you're eating breakfast at 9 in the morning. And then just keep bumping that window closer and closer so it slides together. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I really don't know if I'm making any sense because I'm tired. I hope I am. I just don't want to see anyone do something and jump right into it because I know John does intermittent fasting and he does a lot of long doing it for hours upon hours. I don't want someone coming in here that's new to something like intermittent fasting and just jump right into it because that could really do some horrible things to your body. So you really have to know what you're doing. You have to study it. You have to investigate it like you're a scientific investigator and really understand what you're doing. I can't stress that enough. You know, John's probably a great person to ask questions and where to get the research from. Who can I, what kind of videos can you tell me? What kind of books can I read? John's probably great at that, but he's on a totally different level than anyone else. So don't do what John's doing if you're brand new. Please. John's been doing this for years. I intermit every day, only eat between 4 p.m. and midnight. Oh, see, you got an 8 hour window. That's great. I usually have a 6 hour window, but I've also been doing it for a long time. Even when I was eating the American Standard Diet for that year that I was off from carnivore, I still tried to only eat within a 6 to 8 hour window every single day because I believe in that. Yeah. So see, John's like 20 years beyond anybody else. So you can't take what John says and start it because he's had 20 years experience. You have to find your own day one. His day one was 20 years ago. And I also, and this again is just my opinion, I'm not trying to tell anybody anything. I don't believe that anyone that is new should just jump right into carnivore. I believe that you need to start keto and then slowly work your way up. Do ketovore, then carnivore after your body's adapted to the fats because you're gonna get sick. You're gonna get the flu, you know, and all kinds of strange things are gonna happen. And nobody needs to go through that when you could just start slow because this isn't a race, unless you're someone that, you know, you've been told you got 2 months to live or something, so you're just cutting out carbs completely, you know, doing a shot. Otherwise, no one should be just jumping into things. And I worry that some people might do that. That scares the crap out of me because some of this stuff you really have to train your body to do it. Um, Now I have, and see, I've rambled my mouth and stopped reading the chat. You're definitely making sense. Okay. But I think everyone has to do their own research. Exactly. Because everyone is different, and that's the big thing. Everyone is different. So what works for me may not work for any of you guys. I wouldn't want to tell anyone to how to do it right. It's easy to do, but you should know the ins and outs. It's not complicated though. Right. Like I can tell you, yeah, the carnivore diet is just all meat. If it's from an animal, you can eat it. Is avocado, good on a carnivore? Is it a meat? Yeah. I could probably help with that, but still, anyone brand new, I wouldn't want them starting out carnivore. I mean, you can, but you really have to do your individual research. I can answer questions. I can tell you what I do, what's helped me. It could possibly help you, but it might not because all of our bodies are different. And when I say different, it's like someone might be only 20 years old and their metabolism is different from mine. I've already gone through menopause, so all my hormonal stuff is totally different than someone that's 20 years old. There's so many variables that we're not alike. Our reactions, our allergies, everything is different. Yeah, perfect, Pania. That's all I can ask for is that you do your research, you learn you know. Carnivore diet is great for like elimination. Once you've been into ketosis and all that stuff from the ketovore and you slide into the carnivore, that's like the ultimate elimination because you've eliminated every plant from your body, from your, well, not from your body, but that's going into your body. And you can totally eliminate it. And then you stay on it for a few weeks. And then you slowly start adding foods to it to find out what is causing inflammation in your body. You know, maybe I can't eat sardines because I didn't have a problem with my ankle at all until I ate that can of sardines, and I woke up the next day and my foot was killing me. I had all I could do to walk. Maybe it had to do with the sardines because it stopped hurting. Last night. Even no, even last night it was bothering me. It stopped hurting this morning when I went out for my walk. I was like, oh, my my ankle feels better. But you have to know you now. The next time I eat sardines, I doubt that'll be tonight. But the next time I have sardines, I'll remember that. Like, okay, is it gonna affect me? Like the ham, I can't eat ham, not as much as I did anyway. That's right. That's all you can do is share your experience, Sean. You can't tell anyone you got to do this, this, and this because they may not be ready for it. I got to go back and read some of this. I passed some stuff. Just give me a second. I skipped complete screen stuff and I'm down here reading the bottom. Um, I wouldn't want to tell anyone how to do it. Um, very simple. It's very simple to get the hang of it, but you want to know the general info. Some people have reactions. Research these videos for a bit. I read a few books and watched so many videos before I started, and I did too. I watched so many videos, and then I was already researching it. Then I ran into Bill Knotts and Homestead How. So I felt like they were my. I felt like a very strong connection to Bill Knotts because I too hadn't left my house for years, and I didn't even know how much I weighed because I couldn't. The scale that I was using didn't go past 400 pounds. So all I know is I was past 400 pounds, and it took about a month or so to get the scale to show that I was under 400. Um, I let me. I gotta not read new. I gotta read this past. When I started carnivore, it was rough until I had electrolytes. Yeah, that's very important. This is 2 years ago now, and I am gaining the weight now, so going to try the fast. Yeah, just like I said, just research it, please. It could help, Lisa. It could help. I believe intermittent fasting done correctly and knowing your body, you can heal from it. It's great. The carnivore to me, the keto, the carnivore, and intermittent fasting work so well together to heal. And when I did that last year, I lost 120 pounds in 7 months. I can't seem to do it now though. Oh, um, feeling a lot of levels. I'm doing research, got the workbook and journal too, like that. Thank you, Candy. You guys are great. I can only share my experiences, strength, and hope, and together strong. I really believe that community support, such as a place like this, is so important. So, together strong, I believe that statement wholeheartedly. I think keto to carnivore is awesome. I love ketovore currently. Yeah, to me, that's to me it's the best way to do it. Yeah, sorry, Grandma. I wandered. I can't do any in oil, even if rinsed. Can't do any what? I think I missed something. What did I? I'm still awake. I'm barely. But I want to get my time. Sardines. Oh, okay. I don't like sardines. Is like something that I grew up eating. I grew up eating like all kinds of fish, smelts, all kinds of things. Um, Sardines for me was a snack in my early teens and in through my teens and early 20s. So I have no problem at all eating sardines. I used to love smelts though, cleaning smelts and then, you know, fry those babies up. Yum, yum, yum. Fasting shouldn't be a struggle if you're ready for it. If you're ready for it. Exactly. It's not for everyone. I had to because nothing was working. It was my last hope. You're a totally um, medical case of your own, John. I know that once you're ketovore, carnivore, and you're fat adapted, and you don't have those strong hunger pains, and you train your body to go further and further and further, or longer, longer, longer. You shouldn't get so hungry like you were when you were back into eating carbs. If you're if you're getting that famish while you're fasting, you just need to move on. You can try, and I've done it. You can try having yourself some water, drink a bunch of water. I've done that, and then that took that hunger right away. And I really believe that when you're new to this kind of stuff and your hunger pangs are all over the place, um, drink some water. Really drink some water and see if that takes your hunger pangs away. I for myself and other people, because I've done it because I heard it from other people, they would drink water and the hunger went away. So sometimes you get hunger signals when you're thirsty. I never realized that. So that's the first thing I reach for when I'm doing this and I get hunger pains. It's like, when was the last time I drank some water? Yeah, I had a cup of coffee, but what about water? So even if I'm drinking water, drinking coffee, right here is my water. But if you're hungry and it doesn't go away, then you're not ready for a fast. I'll tell you that right now. Accountable Quest does a daily moonlight for food addiction support and accountability. I'm glad that somebody else doing it. I am so glad. I've never heard of Accountable Quest. I'm going to write his name down. I like that we just hang out and just chit chat. I really like that. What am I doing? Oh, hi, Mason. Hello, hello, hello. Now, if someone comes in and I don't see you, please forgive me because I'm running on no sleep. So, okay. Now, if I go to bed right now, I'll get up at like 5 in the morning and just you know be here. And I like getting up and then start my day. And I hate going to bed and not being able to sleep because my husband's in that bed snoring. So it's like, oh, please stop snoring. Oh, please stop snoring. I can't sleep. I have to be asleep before him, or I have to wait till he gets up and hope and pray he's not snoring when I do go to bed. I'll have to bring my earplugs. If I could paint and chat, I would take over the live for a night, but it would get very boring. You can't paint and talk at the same time? Just baby. Money actually is my daughter's dog, and he sleeps with her. I don't sleep with Money. Money's a bed hogger. I hear my daughter complaining about it all the time. Money's not even allowed on our bed, period. I believe, and I believe this very strongly, that when you take in a pet like a dog, dogs are pack animals. So if you go to bed and you leave your dog in a kennel overnight, how is that a natural pack? You're telling that dog, no, you don't belong. And I think that dogs are so much happier and they get fulfillment in life if when they are in a pack. She is in my pack. I'm in her pack. So it's very important. In packs, they sleep together. They're cream gravy. I used to use heavy cream for gravy and just use that as my base and go for it. Oh, you guys again? Hello, Cindy. I don't like crates either, Bob. I don't hate on anyone for what they feel is right. Oh, I don't hate on anyone either. It's just that it just saddens my heart because they feel they're not getting that pack feeling, that they belong, that they're protected. I want baby to feel protected. She sleeps with the pack. But no, I don't mean to hate on anyone. It's just that I disagree. I'm allowed to disagree and why, and state why I disagree with people that crate. Money was created when he was a puppy, and he was created and kept being created. That was too small for him, and he grew funky. He didn't have his butt was the size. He's now healthy. He's not all disproportionate anymore. And it was because he was kept in a crate. God, I would not want to ever put money right now in a crate. He would probably go panic crazy. More their bed than mine. My husband would do a crate as he is retired and home. They are always in the bed. Yeah. Now, yeah, if I'm busy in the house and I need to keep them safe, she has a crate. Baby has a crate. I have used the crate. I've put her in the crate before. More for her protection than anything. So it's not like I don't believe in crates. Period. I feel that they're they have their purpose. I've done it to keep baby protected. There was, she was going to be with a bunch of other dogs, and I needed her to not only feel protected but be protected. I didn't want to take the chance of her jumping out of my arms and taking off because of these other dogs. I didn't know these other dogs. I just knew that they were going to be there in the same place. They come from wolves. They don't want to be in cages exactly. She's only been in a cage like when we take her to the vets, for like her shots and stuff like that. She's in a crate to protect her in case there's other dogs there that's bigger than her. And we don't need baby. If baby gets into a fight with a bigger dog, guess what? Baby's gonna die. Well, she's gotten into a fight with a bigger dog, and man, that was a horrible, horrible month. I'll tell you. She had to spend the night in the hospital, and I thought her blood work for her liver came back at normal. Now it's normal, but it was because she had a fright, a scare, and so we had to deal with all kinds of issues. She had a bite wound up against her jugular or whatever, but they took pictures. Thank God that just missed that main artery, just missed it, just slid right by the teeth of the other dog. Yeah, like almost like this. If this was a crate and I had a nice soft blanket in there, but the door was always open or removed, she would feel safe. She feels safe in this. It's her bed. That you can do things for protection so they feel protected with a crate. It's just that I like the little doggy house. Yeah, it was. She had to be. It kept bleeding. The wound kept bleeding, and they were having a hard time. It was too small to be stitched, so she had like a bandage on it. But she kept her moving and stuff. Would the bandage would come off and it would stop bleeding again. So what they ended up doing is drugging her to keep her, subdued and not move, so sedated. And she was kept sedated for about 3 days. I felt so bad that I had to give her this medication, and she had this big cast. They ended up putting a cast on her neck. It was awful. I felt so bad. Mochi is spoiled, but not rotten for it. Now baby's spoiled rotten. I used to get him groomed, but now I do his groom because I couldn't deal with them putting him in a cage until I picked him up. Oh, that's awful. Yeah, it's about dogs in bed. Big dogs have big nails and weight. I'd stop, but dogs outnumber me. Ah. Well, you know what? Every situation is different. But I got a little baby when she first started sleeping with us. We had one of these. It's now in my husband's office. We don't use it in the bed anymore, but we had one of these in the bed, and it was right up by our heads between my husband and I, and so she just slept in that, and then she just came out and started sleeping against me. And she's been doing that ever since. So we moved the house because she never slept in it. My cats love their bye bye bags. Aw, but if a dog likes a safe place, it's good. Yeah, Candy, I get that. I think my mom overuses hers. She has four little doggies. I think crates can be good for them, but many people overuse them almost like a toy box to put the dog away while they don't want to deal with it. Yeah, I don't like that. You've been itching today. You ain't got fleas or something, do you? You don't normally itch like this. I have I have only ever had cats until these two dogs I have now. I would never go to a day without a dog now. They're so special. Yeah, they are. They really are. They are special. Ugh. Yeah, when my kids were younger, I had cats. I love cats. And then we found out my daughter was allergic to cats, severely allergic to cats. She kept going into the hospital with bronchitis and allergies. And then we found out she was allergic to cats and a lot of other things. In the USA, do you guys have a family doctor or do you just pay as you go, go to any doctor? Now, years and years ago, Lisa, I used to have a family doctor, and he took care of everything. Took care of my kids. He took care of my pregnancy. All my babies had their shots to them. If I needed a pap smear, he did the pap smear. He even would say, "Hey, you need to come in and get." He would call the house, check on the kids. I haven't seen you and your kids for a while. He was great. He would even once, when my daughter was, because she was very asthmatic, he even stopped by the house and he said, "Yeah, you guys live right on my way home, so I just figured I'd come in and check on Brandy." So to me, it was, I thought all doctors were like him. Now, there was a spell where once I left his practice because I moved, I was a healthy woman. I never had infections. I never had strep throat. I never had ear infections or bladder infections. Never. I've never in my life had any of those. So I really never had a need to go to the doctors for 20 years. And then I went to Texas. I moved to Texas and then up here to Ohio. Well, when I moved here in Ohio 2 years ago, I went to a doctor. And for my first time ever that I ever had a doctor, he sent me to another doctor for every little thing. And I thought, well, this is crazy that he's not even he wasn't even gonna do a pap smear on me. He wanted to send me to another doctor to do a pap smear even. And I'm like, why am I here? Why do I come see you for everything? You know, you check my weight, my blood pressure, and then you send me to another doctor for everything. So I'm kind of a little perturbed by that because I'm not used to having to have, instead of one doctor, I now have like 50. I don't like that. That's the only way you know. I used to order my own test at LabCorp and only went to the doctors for a prescription. But I guess I feel better with their specialized in certain fields. I think healthcare everywhere is downhill. I do too, Lisa. It is so crazy. And what's scary is that it's all about the money now. No longer do you have the family physician. That everybody's got their money out, and doctors help. You go to a doctor, he sends you to somebody else. Oh, you got high blood pressure? Well, here, go to the cardiologist, and he'll give you your heart medication. Oh, you need to have a pap smear? Well, here, go to the gynecologist and oh, you got something wrong with peeing? You're peeing when you sneeze? Oh, here, go to the urologist. You know, you're just constantly going to another doctor. And I don't like that. It's like, why am I paying for all this specialty? Because that costs more money than if you would have just done the pap smear. You know, it's I'm paying to come see you. You know, 300 and something dollars. The least you can do is do my pap smear while I'm here, so I don't have to go to this other doctor, spend twice the money. Oh God, the medical stuff is. And I took medical science, so I took medical billing and stuff like that in college. I understand what they're doing. You know, they're all little greedy assholes because the insurance companies are charging an arm and a leg and they don't want to pay. So they're sending people to do other things so that the insurance company, it's just, yeah, it's highway robbery. Everybody's got their money hand in for the money. And we're getting screwed because we pay insurance and they don't cover anything. So, I'm like, what the hell? Oh, you have to have insurance in this country. Well, I should say, what, 10 years ago, I guess? I don't know how long ago it was. If you did not buy your health insurance, if you did not, even if you was homeless and you had like a little tiny part-time job or whatever, but anyways, if you did not have health insurance, you got fined. You got fined. So even if you didn't have a job and couldn't pay for it, you still would get. Yeah, that is no longer the case. They ended up stopping it when some president went in. I don't know who it was, but I can't believe we actually even did that. That is so ridiculous. Yeah, I don't like where it went at all. And here's another thing, Lisa, since we're on the topic of health insurance. You got to pay for health insurance, right? You get it. And you think that if you got health insurance and you go to the pharmacy to get your meds that are prescribed to you and you use your insurance card, that it should be cheaper, right? No, it's more expensive. My medications and my husband's medication, if I use my insurance card for my meds, they will cost me $70 more out of pocket than if I would just not use my insurance and just say I'm here to pay cash. If you pay cash, it goes from 90 to 120 down to like $23 a month. $23 every 3 months for my medication. If I use my health insurance, it costs me $100 more for my meds. Isn't that crazy? Hi, Lisa. Hi, Pharaoh Grandma. Yeah, that's our health insurance. It costs you more if you use it than if you didn't have it. I finally have a solid team, but my doctors keep leaving to make more money somewhere else. Yeah, and sadly, that's the case now. That is the case. I am a walker, 54, because of severe pain. I went to pain management doctor. I was sent there. I didn't agree with the fentanyl patch, morphine pills. 80, what, what's that? 60, okay. Wow, they hooked you up. Holy Toledo. Usually they don't give you nothing. They don't want you to have any of that stuff. It's hard to even get it. Exactly. So that's our health insurance in this country. It was cheaper for me to pay out of pocket than it was to pay for the insurance, even with that fine. Yeah. See, the reason for that is because it's so much harder. Um, Insurance companies don't really pay right up front. They hold off. The reason why they hold off is because they got all this millions of dollars in a bank account drawing interest. So if they hold off till just before your bill is due, because they want to keep that money in the bank collecting interest, and then they can pay the bill from the interest. So they've got that money in a high interest, collecting high interest on their millions of dollars. And when they're paying out, they paying out with the money from that. So doctors have learned that in order to get money, because the insurance say, no, we're not going to give you $100 for that appointment. We're only going to give you 10. So now doctors have to figure out a way of rewarding everything to try to do like a longer visit, because your doctor visits are broken down into like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. That's how it's paid through the insurance. So if you're sitting in that room waiting on your doctor, there's a reason why you're waiting on that doctor, because that's timed when you went into that room. And if they can keep you there for 45 minutes to an hour, they could charge you that room for 45 minutes to an hour, even though, you know, we will be the same age in 5 more days. I think people who sort this stuff out think we are stupid or poor to do anything. Well, we can't really do anything because they make the rules. It's like I remember back in the day, and When before cars needed to be insured, of course, if you bought a car from through the bank, they expected you to have full coverage. But if you just had a junker, most people didn't have that junker insured. Some people would just get liability so that if they hit somebody, then they're covered. But once it got mandated that everyone had to have a vehicle, suddenly everybody's policies went from $25 a month now to like $75 to $80 a month because the insurance knew, hey, this is great. We're gonna make money like crazy. And they did. And they're doing it. They did it with the health insurance. They do it with everything now. It's like everything is about the money. It's not about people anymore, whether or not they can afford it. I that's such a topic for me that drives me crazy. I gotta stop. It's just I'm so just ugh. My husband my husband says there's certain topics we can't talk about. One of them is the whole thing with Waco, Texas, with that religious dude. I forget his name now. It's right on the tip of my tongue. With to me, all those people died because of the government in there. And I don't want to get into no government or political or religious thing, but that's what I believed. And my husband believed the opposite. And so we would get into these heated little debates, and finally we said, "All right, that's a topic we can't talk about." So throughout the years, you just know there's certain topics you can't talk about. And health insurance is one of those topics I can't discuss because once that gets up, I'm so passionate about it that, ah, no, it's all right. It's all right. Don't be sorry for that. You asked a question, you're from another country, of course, it's going to be answered. But you need to understand just the reality of our health system sucks in this country. Healthcare is like politics and religion for grandma. Oh, yeah, David Koresh. That's who it was. You guys remember David Koresh from in Waco, Texas? I can take more ibuprofen than naloxone, and I take a ton of ibuprofen. Terrible. You and I couldn't talk about Waco either. Hmm. I just want to go there. I see my whole thing. It isn't about yeah. It's about the government could have picked him up at any time. They did not have to pick him up once he got back to that ranch with all those children. All those kids had to die because the government couldn't just pick him up when he went to the post office or picked him up when he went to all these other places in town. They were following him. They could have picked him up any time away from that ranch, but they waited till he went back. And there, I'll leave that alone. Yeah, well, that's all right because he definitely, the children weren't there. He might have had five other guys with him, but at least he wasn't with all the children that died. It would have just been the five of them. Are you on politics? Against your rules? I know. I gotta get off. I gotta get off. I gotta get off. I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. And I told you, anything could happen during this stream because I'm tired. Uh, Not politics. Um, Rice. What a fun group to chat with. I love it. Uh, yeah, there's certain topics. I'm just so, red hot about it, red hot. And politics is one of those things I'm red hot about. But basically, politics, though, um, it's only because in this world right now, it could kill people. It causes bad blood, so it's best not to go there um, with politics because everyone nowadays is so strong from one side to the other, to the other, to the other. And it's just not worth getting there. It can divide people, divides families. Yes, exactly. Everyone is at this point politics. It has killed. That's right. It kills. It divided people, and we definitely don't need to start getting into political debates in here and start dividing because people get so. I'm one of those hot headeds, and I have to step back and say, "Don't go there. Don't go there." When I'm on those videos, I see all my blemishes and all my scars from pimples over the years, and then there's some videos that my skin just seems so clear. I'm like, this isn't fair. One day, I've got all these blemishes and deep wounds and freckles and uh, Grandma has aliens working on us. Come on, you missed the spot. I got pimple right there. Will you do something? I am still trying to figure out the whole Jesus and the alien thing. Jesus and the alien thing? Do we want to go there? Lisa, do we want to go there? Uh, you, I am in a lost bucket? What do you mean you're in a lost bucket? Jesus is not an alien. Uh, oh, okay, okay, okay. This is how it is. This is how it is. I don't believe that Jesus was an alien. Okay, I just don't. But throughout my lifetime, you've got so many people. I have my own beliefs. I don't have to blurt it to the world. I have my own beliefs. I have a very, very good space between me and not space. That isn't the word, but this all my life I've had this connection with Jesus. All right, let's just put it out there. I had a connection with Jesus. I used to talk to him all the time, just like I'm talking to you. That's the type of relationship me and Jesus has. I can tell him anything and he'll answer me. And I'll have dreams about it. And he answers me in dreams and he's helped change my life. All right. So there you go. So I have my own thoughts on my religious beliefs. I don't push them on anybody ever. So when you have someone that you love, that you hold dear, that comes to your house and wants to save you and preach to you, and it's nonstop quoting Bible verses and everything else, I start saying, Jesus was an alien from another planet. And I start doing that and I freak these people out, because I can look at them straight faced and just convince them that that's how I believe. And do you know they back off? They will leave you alone when you stop doing that, whether it's the Mormons, whether it's the Pentecostals. They will say, oh, okay, because you have to really sound convincing. You have to give them, the big eyes. Jesus was from another planet. He had big, huge powers because he was from the future, or just make it all crazy. And they will not talk to you about religion. Now, do I believe all that? Of course not. I don't believe that. But I don't need to spend the rest of my days being told I was going to hell either. I know I will have my time, my judgment day, but that's between me and him, not between me and you. So that's where the aliens came from. Okay? So when I talk about it, that's, you saw me do that, huh? I keep getting my double crochets and half doubles mixed up. I have to rip them all out. Fell asleep to ancient aliens for a decade. Now, yeah, I watch all those too. Now, do I believe that there's a possibility of aliens? Sure, I do. Do I think Jesus was an alien? Not really. There is religious groups out there like what is that? Scientology that believes that. Yeah. Yeah, if you caught that, because I remember just being very quick. Sometimes I'll go over something, but make it real quick because I don't want to get into a debate issue. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a personal journey between you and that higher power. You know, it's not from me to judge you on. Oh, you're doing it wrong. You need to get down on your knees and you need to lift up your arms and you need to praise God and get the Holy Spirit. I'll never forget, I went to a Pentecostal church. I was nice. This woman's my ex mother in law, rest her soul, because she died. She's dead now. Maybe she's in heaven. I can only pray and hope she is. But anyways, so I go. She takes my kids every Sunday to church, and on Wednesday nights too. They were all little. Yeah, yeah. Yes. I did a little bit of research on Scientology too. I've done a lot of research. I even studied with the Mormons and went to their church. Loved it. So I've got a strong Pentecost. Well, anyways, I go to this Pentecostal church. That's my mother-in-law. I was shocked. They were all running all over the place because my kids were singing. I had girls sing on stage, because they did go to Pentecostal church almost their entire life. Their grandmother came and picked them up, brought them to church, and so they were singing, doing solos or something. So I did go. Well, there was a part in that church. Well, they're all running around. They're just hollering and screaming. Their arms are up in the air and they are praying, whole and I sort of like, okay, okay, it's gonna be over pretty soon. I hope. I'm sort of watching all this, taking this all in, and I just closed my eyes, and like lowered my head, in my own little thoughts. Next thing I know, the whole church were laying their hands on me and they were praying and they were praising Jesus and they were saying, Jesus, Barbara, take in the Holy Spirit. And they were going on and on about it. Pray, Barbara, pray for the Holy Spirit. And I stopped praying. God, please make them stop. Make them stop. I'm freaking out right now. Make them stop. Make them stop. Get them away from me. I don't want them touching me. You know? So I stay away from religious people. I like my own little corner of the world. Me and him have our own personal little relationship. You know, I've known him since I was a little kid, and that's where I keep it. I know I'm tired. I told you I do crazy stuff when I'm tired. Sorry, I'm acting a little bit weird and crazy. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to put anybody down. But you just don't do that, something like that to someone new, because they're really going to think you're crazy and off your rocker. You got to give them a little bit of space. No, just I don't want to go over the line. I'm watching out for you, just like you told me to. Yeah, I have a major in world religion. Isn't it interesting? And if anyone's here into all that, that's fine. But you guys had to come and touch me. Y'all had to come and touch me. Y'all had to tell me to do something that I've been doing for a long time, very well on my own. I'll probably go to hell now. Sorry, Jesus. I don't mean to make fun of you. See, he knows I'm good. I'm good. Next. So, aliens. Has anyone seen any of the green men lately with the glowing eyes? How about Bigfoot? Anybody seen Bigfoot? No? Loch Ness Monster? Glowing lights in the woods? I'm just relieved you don't believe Jesus is an alien. Ah, ah. You never know. No, I don't believe that. But when they all come to my house and start preaching, any of you guys come to my house and start preaching and telling me I'm going to hell and start judging me, guess what? You're gonna get that sermon how Jesus was an alien from another planet. I'm just letting you know up front. Do I believe it? No. But you're gonna hear a story. You might not like it. Just giving you a heads up. There was a full moon last night. Do you guys put your decor for Halloween up yet? If you celebrate, we have not. Maybe this is where all that craziness is coming on the full moon. I think it's just coming from lack of sleep myself. I have a blurry picture of all of them partying. Bigfoot was the life of the party. God, I hope I don't have dreams of all this, guys. Honest to goodness. I hope I don't dream. If I do, I'm going to be so upset. Oh, you guys got to hear about it in the morning if I have weird dreams. The only thing, I don't decorate my house or anything for Halloween. I don't really, I'm weird. I don't like all the ghostly ghosts and all that stuff. But what I do, my kids go to Catholic school. They go to the Catholic school for their school. They go to private school, and every year for Halloween, all the kids in the school they all they do trunk or treat. I'm sure you've heard of it. We all go up to the school, we park our vehicles, and we hand out candy. Last year I did 300 bags of candy, and they were all gone within 20 minutes to a half hour, every single thing. And so this year I'm trying to do more than 300. I think I'm up to about, let's see, 80. I'm at least at 160 bags. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing up bags for Halloween to hand out. And I might dress up. One year I wore a black dress with a witch's hat. I might do that again. I got a black dress, and I know, right? And now She won't be coming in here for candy because it's now in the dining room in a big box. I'm about halfway done. Yeah. Have you ever seen those plastic bins with covers? They're about like this big and about like this high. They're just a plastic tote box. That's going to be full by the time I'm done. And right now it's halfway. I want it to be full and the lid can be really hard to close type of thing. So I'm going to have one of those with, and I'm putting things like 2, 3 pieces of candy with some tattoos, some stickers, maybe a ghost ring, bracelets, just different things in each bag, different kinds of candy, whether it's a lollipop, candy bars. I thought trunk or treat was a smart idea, another option. Yeah, that's what we do. I don't hand out candy at the house. If there's any left over, I'll put it in a small bowl next to the house. And if, but basically, I don't give candy out at the house. You hate trunk or treat? I do. I just think it's safer. And this is all mostly parents and grandparents from you know uh, the kids, school. That completely ruined Halloween. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of the poison, rat poison in food, blades and apples, you know, uh, little pins, and I don't know. And I have fun with it. I feel like I interact with the kids more that way than having them just come to my house. Like quickly give them a piece of candy and they run off. I get to actually talk to them and tease them and be right out there with them. Yeah, I have always did too. If the wrapper was loose, I threw out the candy. I love trunk or treat when I was a kid was fun. Plus, usually dogs were welcome, so that was the best. Trunk or treat is when like usually there's like maybe 25, 30 cars. They they open up the trunk of their car. They might put chairs out and they hand candy, and all the kids go from car to car to car with their outfits on, and they chit chat with you, and they might even share jokes for candy. It's more slower pace interaction. It's just fun. Yeah, and like I said, I find that it's much fun for me. I mean, my whole thing is creating good memories for kids. And this is like they're with their friends, all their school friends, they all hang out, they're planning already what they're going to be. And so this they're groups. If they just go house to house, it's usually just brother, sister, mommy, and they go to house. This way it's they're with all of their friends. During the whole year I hang doll in the trees. It's amazing that I don't get trick or treaters. You would, John. Well, some people like celebrating. I think we live in a world now where we are being told to be terrified. So these old traditions are dying, and that's sad. But I don't really care much. Yeah, I just like it. I enjoy it. I am scared of everything, or I used to be. Back in the day, everyone knew everyone in the neighborhood, so it would be fun. When I was a kid, I knew everybody. I knew where all the kids lived and who the mean ones were and who might give you bad stuff. We were made to go outside and play, so we knew all the neighbors. Take me 10 years to find neighbors that I can talk to borrow a cup of sugar or a couple of eggs, have a handyman around. Yeah. Yep, the world is changing. No, I actually did have a blade and an apple when I was a kid. I actually had one. My dad used to cut the apples that we used to get, and one of the apples had a razor blade. Um, yeah, from a razor. It had a razor blade in the apple. So it has happened. I've had it happen with me. Yeah, yep, it has happened. My dad was like that. Instead of just throwing it all away, he would actually cut it all up and investigate, make sure no one would have hurt one of his kids. Yeah, the police. He called the police and everything, and we had to try to figure out whereabouts we were when we got the razor blade, where we got the apples. I know, right? But all I could do was remember I was down a certain street when they were giving out when I got the apple because we would go down the street and dump our bags and stuff after, and that's all they knew. They had to go and investigate from there. I don't think anything became of it. I never had to go to court or anything like that, so I don't really. Wow, good. This was Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine. That's where this happened. We were living in Portland, Maine on Clark Street. And it was probably like in 1971, 72. No, it would have been 71 backwards. So 71 or into the late 60s is when it happened. That one girl, when I was a kid, had a neighbor that gave out cheese squares. It was so gross. My mom made us go there because they were elderlies and liked seeing the kids in costumes. Ew. It was probably old stuff. Hey, girl. Yeah, good seeing you, one girl. Good seeing you. Haven't seen you for quite a while. I guess there has always been people doing crazy stuff. We just see it all now online and are scared. I can get anxious these days, even being carnivore. I always hated the raisin houses. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I used to always get bummed if I got like a baggie of popcorn. They actually pop popcorn and then put them in baggies. I used to hate those too because I knew it was just going to get thrown out. Apples, popcorn, all that type of stuff. Anything like baked cookies would get thrown out. My parents would throw it out. My dad would break it all up. I just work so much. I'm usually in bed, but the government is shut down and I'm on furlough tomorrow. Wow, that's right, I forgot. It's shut down. Oh, sweet dreams. Oh, good night, Pania. Sweet dreams. Raisins are not a treat for me. If I had a choice between a Snickers and raisins, guess what I'm choosing? Snickers. Ah, I just never like getting that stuff, even the boxes of raisins, because all that type of stuff got thrown out. Any open packages or any of that got thrown out. Anything like homemade cookies, all got thrown out. Back then, we only had the news at 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., 7 channels. We had, you had 7 channels? We had PBS, ABC News, NBC News, and CBS News. 4 channels, that's it. We didn't have no 7 channels. I agree, Nikki. Now it seems like every day there's some sort of shooting. After a while you hear all that stuff, it no longer, it's just like, all right, yeah, again, another shooting again. It's like, it's not like, oh my God anymore. It's not shocking. You get used to the shocking bad stuff. Yeah, I very seldom watch the news, very seldom. I have a news channel that I watch like maybe once or twice a week, and that's about it. I don't watch my TV. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, but it's all, stuff like music and stuff that I crochet to when I'm not doing this. We never ate any of the handmade snacks either on Halloween. Nope. But I bet most of them are fine, and I feel bad for the people who were just old fashioned and thought they were making, yeah, a great treat, and most of them got tossed. Yeah, all homemade stuff. The bags of popcorn. Some people would make the molasses balls of popcorn. All those got tossed. Some people made their own chocolate chocolate lollipops. Those got tossed. Trying to think what else got tossed. There was quite a few of that type of stuff that got tossed. Yeah, we got numb to bad news now. The killings were numb to it. Most kids don't even go outside to get dirty. They stay inside and they stay on their little computers or Game Boys or whatever. That they all have cell phones, so they're just chatting with their friends and playing, what do they call that, craft, Minecraft, and all that type of stuff. Yeah, that makes me really sad. I mean, there's a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. And therefore, they do not build up any type of immunity to anything. Don't trust us eating them. And I understand why, but it's also just sad that that's the world we live in, because I think there was a time where you could make a homemade treat and the kids would enjoy. Yeah, But I also believe there was a time, Candy, that you only went to the house that you knew, and everyone knew everybody because you know it wasn't overcrowded. Kids went outside, they talked to their neighbors, so everyone knew everyone, and you trusted those people. It's not like today where you don't even know the name of your next door neighbor. I don't know the name of my next door. I don't know the names of anybody that lives on my street. Not a single person. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy, Nikki. Neighborhoods have changed, and neighbors and strangers now. Yep. Went from knowing everybody to not knowing a soul. A lot of things have changed. We opened up the mental health hospitals in the late 70s because if you got bipolar, schizophrenic, and all that, you had the right to say you didn't want to be there and could be out on the street. And reality was is that the government didn't want to pay for all of those mental health institutions and was shutting them all down, which meant everyone became homeless because they had a right to say they didn't need treatment. So now we've let thousands upon thousands of people that had mental health issues just to go wherever and do whatever. I moved to this house about 3 years ago, and I met my neighbor before I moved in. Oh, nice. I remember back in the day when neighbors moved into the neighborhood, my mom would actually make a casserole and bring it over. I remember my grandmother doing that once to someone too. Hey, Jen. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah, that's the type of stuff that would happen back in the old days. Ugh, ugh. I'm making enough servings for about 12 people. Use less water. Candy, I don't drink anymore, but I have a beer brewery makes wine still. Yeah. You know, tomorrow I am having hamburgers for dinner for everybody, even for the company guests. Then the next day I'm making my homemade lasagna, and I'm not going to eat it. So I got to think of something that I can have I'm trying to think what I can have that might be similar to lasagna that I can make. No, I'm okay and no rush. I haven't slept yet, Jen. I'm still going. Oh, but I'm not the Energizer Bunny. I'm at that slow mo. I'm just a whizzing slowly by. Because most of our neighbors are just normal people. We are in a world right now where people are so afraid to voice their opinions and afraid of and all this other stuff that we're afraid to even, and it's really sad. Yeah, you're afraid to let people in your house because you're thinking all the negative vibes, like, oh my God, they're coming in, they're checking out. I hate having people come in my house. Oh, they see that I have this big TV and I have a disc player. Oh, but or I got this computer. They're just casing out my joint. They're just casing it out. They're gonna come back and scale me blind. John, I was picturing you as a youngster getting raisins while trick or treating, drinking booze. Oh, but we're too scared to go meet him. Let's see. So, I must have missed top chat. Okay, because I'm saying I'm missing post because I gotta put it on the live chat. See if I've got a post. Why am I not seeing that? We're too scared to go meet him. Who is who? Who are you too scared to meet? I don't understand. I'm missing a post. Jen, how are you? My one side neighbor's got sick. They get sick. We made chicken noodle soup on. I made all of it. I made chicken and rice, and I have yet to figure out how to make it. But we're too scared to meet. Must be talking about your neighbor. People are too afraid to go meet their neighbors, even though they're normal people. Yeah, yeah, but it's so much fun just to imagine what they're like. Like the trash truck, the guys with the trash truck. Also, I believe if you're in a state of mind where you think going to be taken advantage of, and you probably will be. But that's just the way I look at things. But I know if you've had a lot of bad things done to you, it might be hard to trust people mostly well intentioned. You never know, they may be normal, just trying to make a living. Yeah, they could be. And I've got it all in my head. I'm not really like afraid of them. It's just like it's a mystery, and I get so intrigued by a mystery. So I got the nosy neighbor thing going on in my head, and I need to know. I need to know all things. I need to know all the secrets. Every single one of them. I want to know all the secrets. Well, I've been up since 4 a.m. and hopefully. All right. Good night, John. See you tomorrow. Choose candy. I think thoughts can do a lot. I mean, look at most serial killers. Are you a normal neighbor with a family? I think a lot too much. I think a lot. Uh, no, I still want it a little bit wider. Um, yeah, put Jen put Sarah good. I'm still in the minority. It's just that all these popular movies and television shows make them seem like they're everywhere. But maybe you are helping myself make myself feel often and it's not okay. I think it's the news so much. This is real life stories of followed. I was making a point. You can never be protected because you don't know who your neighbor could be. Yeah, especially if you live in a neighborhood and you get these flyers in your mailbox saying the guy that's catty corner from your house is a child molester. Yeah, you're not going to trust people. Scooby Doo, where are you? Night, night, John. Well, I don't think you can trust teenagers anymore. It's been the teenagers that's been doing the school shootings and all that type of stuff. If anything happens, we know the house to go to, the dump truck. Uh, just look for the trashy dump truck. I was really expecting that this morning when I went out for my walk at 7 o'clock to find that dumpster truck, that dumps, that trash truck or whatever you want to call it, at that driveway from the morning the day before, and it wasn't there. I was like, wait a minute, did he move again? Where is he now? It's a mystery. It's a mystery. God, I hope I don't have weird dreams tonight. Please, please, please. Well, I think it's, you know, I don't, I've met the neighbors on both sides. I met them. I don't worry about them. But when you have neighbors that are very loud, they're partiers, you've seen them drinking on their front lawn, they, when you, yeah, that's true too. So sometimes you actually do see something and the red flags go up and you need to take it, you know, that intuition, what's that word I'm looking for? That intuition. You gotta, sometimes I believe you just gotta pay attention to that little voice in your head. Yeah, we watch too many murder mysteries. I never got really overly anxious too much until um, COVID. I think when COVID happened, I got really bad. I got really bad. I didn't trust anyone. Everyone, didn't know that you didn't know if they were being a carrier or not. And it left everything, you had to stand 6 feet apart from everyone because you could catch something from them, or they could catch something from you. That put us all in a different level of cautious when it came to other people because everyone knew somebody that died. I've known so many people that died of COVID that I started to take it serious, and that made anxiety issues for me really super bad. And I stayed locked in my house and never left my house except to open up my front door and grab my groceries and bring them in and wipe everything down. So it started with, for me, then. You go to get toilet paper and you see all these people rushing with their grocery carts filled with toilet paper and paper towels, and you're like, geez, should I take this serious? And so you go over and the only thing left in the toilet paper aisle are those wet wipes. So you buy a thing of wet wipes just in case there's never any more toilet paper left. Not like you're able to wipe your ass anyway, but just in case. I think that was the start of fear for a lot of people, even the people not known for being anxious. The big military men, I did pay. I did pay for when come to work to sign a document. Yeah, intuition is key. Often gets clouded by the social noise, though. Yep, yep, I agree. But for me, that's when my anxiety got really super bad because I did try. I went from working at a jail and watching people die, and coworkers die. You know, it's just, and then so many people. Life became political because if you were a Republican, then you didn't believe in the shot, and if you were a Democrat, you believed in the shot, and it's like, oh my God! But yet you had to have the shot in order to go to work. So wars were just with everybody was just crazy. And then on top of that, you got an illness that you can't see that are killing people that you know and love. You have people that were having birthday parties or weddings, and half the people died from COVID. It was just a very horrible time. I tried so hard to get COVID, but only had it once before it was a pandemic. I maintained immunity for 18 months. I donated blood every month to see if I had the immunity to it. I was forced to get the vaccine. The Army made me. Yeah, I was forced to get the vaccine as well because I worked for the county and in the jail. I only got the shot so I could go to my daughter's wedding. My two daughters went to a funeral back in January. They had a family member on my husband's ex-husband's side that passed away, his brother, so their uncle. And so they went up for the funeral, and everybody that went to the funeral, and there was a lot of people, all caught COVID. Brandy had to drive from Maine to Ohio, sicker than a dog, having a hard time breathing, with a fever, sweating, with her and the kids. All had COVID driving back. That is so interesting working in a jail. I always wanted to do a tour where I lived on my husband's posting and never had a chance. I don't catch the fire. I didn't catch the fires, but I know of. I did. I caught it once last year. And then right after I got better, and it was like I was sick for about a month. And then right after I got better, was feeling fine. 2 weeks later, I caught pneumonia. I was sick. I thought something, but I think what COVID knocked the hell out of my immune system, and then I caught the cold right after, because I had 2, 3 weeks where I felt fine. Yeah, and that's was I never got back to carnivore because of being so sick. When I came back from Maine, I must have caught COVID from there, and it just led me down the tumbling road. Because if you're sick, you're gonna eat anything that you can muscle down. I wasn't gonna eat a steak or a hamburger. I wasn't well enough to eat any of that kind of stuff. So my go-to was like chicken noodle soup or chicken and rice soup, something that was bland that I could keep down. And sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes in life, being doing what we're doing to increase health, sometimes you have to step back and just do what it takes to get better when you catch something like that. With me, whether I step away from COVID and go more keyword or whatever, you got to do what you got to do for yourself to get well. Even if going off your diet just temporary, you have to accept that and not feel guilty. crazy time. I know so many people who got COVID and bad, and they had the shot. For a long time, I thought that because I was, O blood, that I wouldn't get COVID. I felt I was immune to it because I was type O blood. Because for a while there, they was spreading that if you're O blood, you're least likely to get COVID. They were wrong. Just so you know, they were wrong. When I caught COVID last year, it had been about 2 years since I had the shot. I only had um, two shots, and that was because it was we had to do it because of work. I know people who had four still got it, and I ain't kidding. Why now? Now you don't get it free anyways. You have to pay for it. No, they didn't come out too fast with the vaccine. It was actually an old vaccine for something else. So they already had it. They just had to tweak it a little bit. There was another virus that was similar to the COVID virus. And yeah, they just had to tweak it. It did the same pathways or something that COVID did. I can't remember what it was. Because, of course, I just can't think right now because my brain is tired. I had all the shots due to my work, but felt sick after. I won't get any more shots now. I won't do it. No, I don't. I haven't gotten a shot since work, and I've been retired since the end of 2020. So I've been retired for 5 years. So I haven't gotten any shots. So I think they were just desperate because people were seeing the death count going so high. And not just here in the States, but around the world. So they were just desperate, hoping that they could find a vaccine. But I also think that it wasn't perfect either. Uh, oh, she poked her head out. There she goes. That's all it was. Oh, I plan on getting some sleep. Good night, Candy. For a long time, we did have measles and smallpox because it had been eradicated until people stopped getting vaccinated for kids. Been hit. Bedtime for me too. Have a great evening, everyone. It was a great chat. Thank you for being here, Lisa. You too, Candy. See you tomorrow. Yep. Sleep well. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm about ready. I'm spent. I hate it because it's only 12:30, but I am so tired. Good night, everyone. Mm, I'm tired. I'll see you tomorrow. 3, 2, 1.